and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing really well. This video is again going to be looking at the crypto markets and covering a ton of different Hedera news, particularly as we ramp up towards or move throughout the course of January. There are several different events taking place in which Hedera will be of focus. One of the first things I wanted to look at in this video, though, before I jump into that specific Hedera news, is the wider markets at large. And we'll be touching on some more of those Fed meeting minutes and what we can expect over the coming quarters as we roll through 2023. Interesting article over here from MarketWatch saying Wall Street expects S&P 500 to finish 2023 at just 4,000 points after missing the mark by the widest margin since 2008. So we can see here, Wall Street often gets it wrong. As with any type of analyst prediction, there are so many different variables to take into consideration when producing these different targets that, of course, there is a lot of scope for error. But when it comes to anticipating where stocks might be trading 1 year out, in 2020, its forecasters were set to miss the mark by the widest margin in nearly 15 years, according to data compiled by FactSet. So we can see here, overestimate the performance of the S&P 500 index in 2022 by nearly 40% as of Tuesday, according to the average bottom-up forecast compiled by FactSet senior earnings analyst John Butters. That mark would be their biggest miss since 2008, where analysts overshot by 92%. Even more interestingly, though, is when we look at the different banks and investment banks and brokers that are producing these forecasts. A lot of these are namestay. So a recent survey of top Wall Street forecasters by MarketWatch put the average S&P 500 estimate at just 4,031 for the year end of 2023, which is actually only an advance of about 6% from Tuesday this week's closing price of 3,822. To get to that average chart, you can view it on this page. However, we can see the breakdown here with the S&P 500 targets. Obviously, some of them are more bullish. You see Deutsche Bank, they're up at 4.5K, and some being more bearish, with BNP Paribas down at 3,400, average being just over 4,000. What this tells us, though, is an advance of only 6% over the course of an entire year clearly shows there is a lot of economic turmoil and fallout from 2022 that is going to spill over into the equities markets throughout 2023. And unfortunately, as we've said before, you can sort of look at several different measures. Cryptocurrency markets and equities markets are heavily correlated to one another as assets go. Therefore, it speaks to reason that we'll only see modest gains potentially for the cryptocurrency markets throughout 2023. Now, of course, if we scroll back up, we can see immediately Wall Street often gets it wrong, as with many analyst predictions. However, I'm still going off the basis of those terminal interest rates, which is something that I wanted to showcase now. Funny meme here that I wanted to insert before I jump across to read some of the excerpts or summaries from those meeting minutes. Here's a meme of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I'm going to hike interest rates until you morons stop trading monkey JPEGs. And obviously in relation to the inflation rates we're seeing globally. So the Fed wants more evidence of easing inflation and backs fresh rate rises. So therefore, we will most likely be seeing some continued aggression and hawkishness from the Federal Reserve in increasing those interest rates. And then, of course, you've got the spillover effect globally. The minutes from the December meeting show the US central bank officials intend to keep squeezing the economy, with the Federal Reserve officials warning that they would need to see substantially more evidence of easing inflation before they are convinced that price pressures are under control, as they backed fresh rate rises this year, according to an account of their most recent meeting. Minutes from the December gathering, where the US central banks raised its benchmark rate by 0.5 percentage point, showed the Fed intends to continue squeezing the economy to try and tackle those price pressures, which they warned could prove to be more persistent than anticipated. Now, funnily enough, there's an interesting graphic here on this website, Financial Times, actually showing or depicting how wrong a lot of these analysts got in terms of the persistence and the non-transitory nature of these inflation rates. So we can see the Fed official project larger interest rate rises sooner than expected. These are box plots on here with first, second and third quartiles, as well as median values for each annual projection of the interest rates. So So we can see the interest rate in December 2022, the closing of the year was at 4.375%. So if we look at this box plot of December 2021, and it was then predicting what the interest rates would be in December 2022, all the way through to the longer run and outwards, 23 and 24, we can see that realistically they were forecasting an increase in these interest rates, but predicting even the outliers here, we can see just north of 3% of federal funds rate as of 2024. But as time has shifted through 2022, we can see these analyst expectations continuing to increase as the Fed maintained its hawkish, accelerator pedal position that we saw. Even getting out as far as September, we're now starting to see then they were reckoning the closing rate was obviously going to be 4 to 5% in 2022. And then, in 2023, potentially pushing north of 5%. And then as of December 2022, another shift happens where suddenly analysts are now expecting the terminal interest rate to lie between 5 to 6% on the median, and even some outliers showing, 5.63% on the upper end, that third quartile, potentially for the federal funds rate in 2023, and then a slow deceleration over the next couple of years into the longer run of where they see maintained interest rates at 2 to 3%. All right, then, so that's a lot of information. I guess, what does this actually mean? It means that the cost of borrowing is still going to be high, and the investment into these more risky projects and areas of finance, such as cryptocurrency, could potentially take a hit for several years to come. Now, that's of course the worst case scenario that could take place. The best case scenario is that everything tends to bounce back really quickly. The Federal Reserve manages to get inflation under control via the use of interest rates in a sooner than expected manner, and therefore we see risk on appetites begin to increase again, to which we will see more investment flow into riskier projects and areas of finance such as cryptocurrencies. So that's my take on what's currently happening at the moment. It stands to reason that we may see 2023 continue to be not as much of a bearish year as 2022, as there are clearly leaders at the helm now that are trying to take a stance in order to curb the economic impact and fallout from the last couple of years of sort of over budgeted spending by governments. However, we could still see some sideways movement for a considerable portion of 2023, if not the majority of 2023, when it comes to equities and cryptocurrencies, as shown by those analyst estimates of only a 6% increase in the overall market cap of the S&P 500. We could see something very similar take place for Bitcoin and the remainder of cryptocurrency projects. So take that with a pinch of salt and obviously build your strategies off the back of that. This could be a good or another sustained 12 months of this, where you could build these positions in long-term projects where you've done your research and you understand the positions that you are taking. Of course, I will continue to put out videos as these things develop. Anyway, jumping across then to some more crypto-centric news, particularly focusing on Hedera. I tweeted this out on the 2nd of January. A good start to the year for Hedera. It looks like the topic ID 120438 has begun ramping up again. This is actually the ADSTAX use case, the ADSTAX platform topic ID, where they submit all of their transactions. That's how it works on Hedera. You can have these topic IDs where you can send sort of transactions through and they get classified underneath that topic ID. Not only that as well, we've seen the Ashfall token, which is a game, AAA game native to Hedera, being built by 𝗟𝗜𝗚𝗏, has begun minting. I did cover this way back when they first announced they were building on Hedera, but they've begun minting some of their native tokens, the Ashfall token on Hedera, as well as we saw over 100,000 new accounts being registered in under 2 days. So here we can see those topic IDs. That was the submitted messages or transactions by the ADSTAX platform. We can see the non-fungible token summary taking place. We can see all these Ashfall tokens being minted, these NFTs, over 6 transactions, 18,000 of them. And these are actually comics that will form part of the wider series that they are building for this AAA game on Hedera. And there we can see all of the accounts that have been created as well. 111,000 accounts nearly in less than 2 days. And of course, that was all coming from 𝗟𝗜𝗏, again, them ramping up for more of these large scale use cases, which is great to see. Flicking across then and looking at SAUCERSWAP, as part of our goal to scale operations in 2023, we are excited to announce our partnership with LedgerWorks. We recently integrated LedgerWorks Sentinel DNAS for scalability. Together, our collaboration will enable more features optimizations for all SAUCERSWAP users. So LedgerWorks do provide enterprise grade sort of mirror node services and scaling solutions. HASHPACK have partnered with them in the recent past. I think it was the last couple of months or so. So HASHPACK and SAUCERSWAP will both be working with LedgerWorks in order to scale up their services. So of course, again, this could be great for more retail opportunity and larger scale use cases via the SAUCERSWAP platforms. And of course, like I said, HASHPACK have been working with them for a little while. Great tweet here from 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗦. I did cover what will be happening in Davos, obviously the World Economic Forum, but very excited for Hedera at Davos 23 with the likes of the group governing council members, SB Group, IBM, Avery Dennison, DLA Piper, UCL, ServiceNow, and other big names like Politico will all be presenting at the Hedera Haus. Will be around, I should say, at the Hedera Haus and presenting at Davos 23, which is part of the World Economic Forum. Regardless of your stance on the Davos meets and the World Economic Forum, this is still great exposure for Hedera and the different use cases and potential products that can be built at scale utilizing Hedera Hashgraph, especially following the WEF article today about their views on the crypto's future. So it looks like there's obviously some interesting stuff there. We can also see Christian Hasker sort of tweeting out, showing that they are building the Hedera Haus for Davos 23, and it's all coming together quite nicely. I'd be excited to see the information that comes out from this. Also, Timeless, one that 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗦 missed, will be presenting there as well at the World Economic Forum annual meeting. Executive Chairman Daniel O'Halloran will be attending to present and discuss the future of sustainability. If you're attending World Economic Forum at 23, then be sure to reach out to our team for a chat. So some bullish news there. Right then, jumping across the HASHPACK, there's been several different updates that I wanted to touch on as it may have confused some different people. So HASHPACK 5.0 has just launched, which actually includes a new feature or a set of new features called email login. So you can now create a Hedera account on HASHPACK using your email address without actually the need to remember any recovery phrases or account IDs. We've also made it possible to import existing accounts without needing to know your account ID. Email login is being powered by Magic Link. Let me jump back. Being powered by Magic Labs or Magic Link. This service is audited, completely non-custodial and decentralized. No one else has the ability to access your account except you, not even HASHPACK. Check out our blog post for more information. So basically what this enables you to do is a one-click login. If you create a new account via HASHPACK, you can obviously still use the seed phrase method if you want to via this advanced creation tab you can see in this preview image. What this enables you to do, I believe, is pop in your email address, and then effectively every time you try and sign in to your HASHPACK wallet, you pop in your email address and you will receive one of those magic links that you click on from the same device being logged into your email account. So effectively you're tying your Hedera wallet via this service to a particular email address, and then via magic links is how you access that going forward into the future. Therefore, you don't need to remember any of that information. Of course, you can still use the advanced features with seed phrases and private keys if you wish to do so. The other thing as well they added in 5.0 is improved parsing of HNS domains, so Hashgraph name service, as well as adding some more token icons from their backlog, as well as this new feature called the initial checksum support. So what is a checksum? You may have noticed 5 letters after your account ID appearing inside your wallet. This is called a checksum and is an optional security measure to help make sure people don't send to an incorrect account. It was proposed by Lehman Baird initially in HIP 15, and they've now implemented it. We understand these changes might not be for everyone, so the standard methods of creating or importing accounts with private keys, recovery phrases, or ledger devices will always be available in HASHPACK. Using an email address or checksum is completely optional. So what this checksum effectively enables, if I can find an image of it somewhere, is you'll see some additional characters at the end of your string. And what you can do is if you're sending any value of HBAR or in particular large amounts, you can also choose to include that hyphen, TYUIO at the end you'll see on your wallet. And that just guarantees that you are sending to the correct address without missing any of the numbers in the account ID that you were trying to send to. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's effectively just an additional measure of security. If you want to type out the longer address to ensure that you are sending to the correct account, this enables you to do so. Of course, you can still just send to your standard account numbers if you wish to do it that way instead. Following on from that as well, HASHPACK 5.1 has been released. They've added 𝗟𝗚𝗡 sh name service to the dApp browser, also added support for the 𝗟𝗡𝗡 name service, so .h and .hh domains, fixed hanging executions when using a password protected account. I believe this may have been something to do with failures to delist NFTs from zoos and other marketplaces. That may be fixed now. And then also fixed edge cases. Errors cause hanging executions. Again, that may be tied to what some people have been reporting previously. But of course, as always, to get these, restart your browser, possibly your entire computer, and to update on Android, make sure you go to the Play Store and update there. Sometimes restarting your phone as well can help push those updates. Anyway, guys, this wraps up this video. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment if you've got something to say. I do try and get around to as many of you as I can. Make sure you're subscribed for future videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.